Daniel chapter 7. In the first year of Belshazzar, king of Babylon, Daniel had a dream and visions of his head upon his bed. Then he wrote the dream and told the sum of the matters. Daniel spake and said, I saw in my vision by night, and behold, the four winds of the heaven strove upon the great sea, and four great beasts came up from the sea, diverse one from another. The first was like a lion, and had eagle's wings. I beheld till the wings thereof were plucked, and it was lifted up from the earth, and made stand upon the feet as a man, and a man's heart was given to it. And behold, another beast, a second, like to a bear, and it raised up itself on one side, and it had three ribs in the mouth of it, between the teeth of it. And they said thus unto it, Arise, devour much flesh. After this I beheld, and lo, like a leopard, which had upon the back of it four wings of a fowl. The beast had also four heads, and dominion was given to it. After this I saw the night visions, and behold, a fourth beast, dreadful and terrible, and strong exceedingly, and it had great iron teeth. It devoured and brake in pieces, and stamped the residue with the feet of it. And it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it. And it had 10 horns. I considered the horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn, before whom there were 3 of the first horns plucked up by the roots. And behold, in this horn were eyes like the eyes of man, and a mouth speaking great things. I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the Ancient of Days did sit, whose garment was white as snow, and the hair of his head like the pure wool. His throne was like the fiery flame, and his wheels as burning fire. A fiery stream issued and came forth from before him. Thousands ministered unto him, and 10,000 times 10,000 stood before him. The judgment was set, and the books were open. I beheld then, because of the voice of the great words, tripping over here. Anyways, uh, reaction, there's a reaction, right? I beheld then, because of the voice of the great words which the horn spake. I beheld even till the beast was slain, and his body destroyed, and given to the burning flame. As concerning the rest of the beast, they had their dominion taken away, yet their lives were prolonged for a season and time. I saw in the night visions, and behold, one like the Son of Man came with the clouds of heaven, and came to the Ancient of Days, and they brought him near before him. And there was given him dominion and glory, and a kingdom, that all people, nations, and languages should serve him. His dominion is an everlasting dominion, which shall not pass away, and his kingdom that which shall not be destroyed. I, Daniel, was grieved in my spirit in the midst of my body, and the visions of my head troubled me. I came near unto one of them that stood by, and asked him the truth of all this. So he told me, and made me know the interpretation of the things. These great beasts, which are four kings, which shall rise out of the earth. But the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom, and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever. Then I would know the truth of the fourth beast, which was diverse from all the others, exceeding dreadful, whose teeth were of iron, and his nails of brass, which devoured, brake in pieces, and stamped the residue with his feet. And of the 10 horns that were in his head, and of the other which came up, and before whom 3 fell, even of that horn that had eyes, and a mouth that spake very great things, whose look was more stout than his fellows. I beheld, and the same horn made war with the saints, and prevailed against them, until the Ancient of Days came, and judgment was given to the saints of the Most High. And the time came that the saints possess the kingdom. Thus he said, the 4th beast shall be the 4th kingdom upon earth, which shall be diverse from all kingdoms, and shall devour the whole earth, and shall tread it down, and break it in pieces. And the 10 horns out of the kingdom are 10 kings that shall arise, and another rise after him, and he shall be diverse from the first, and he shall subdue 3 kings. And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws, and they shall be given into his hand until a time and times, and the dividing of time. And by the judgment shall sit, and they shall take away his dominion, to consume and to destroy it unto the end. And the kingdom and dominion and the greatness of the kingdom under the whole heaven shall be given to the people of the saints of the Most High, whose kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and all dominions shall serve and obey him. Hitherto is the end of the matter. As for me, Daniel, my cogitations much troubled me, and my countenance changed in me, but I kept the matter in my heart. Chapter 8. In the year of the reign of King Belshazzar, a vision appeared unto me, even unto me Daniel. after that which appeared unto me at the first. And I saw in a vision, and it came to pass, when I saw, that I was at Shushan in the palace, which is in the province of Elam. And I saw in a vision, and I was by the river of Ulai. Then I lifted up mine eyes and saw, and behold, there stood before the river a ram, which had two horns, and the two horns were high, but one was higher than the other, and the higher came up last. I saw the ram pushing westward and northward and southward, so that no beast might stand before him. Neither was there any that could deliver out of his hand, but he did according to his will, and became great. And as I was considering, behold, an he-goat came from the west on the face of the whole earth, and touched not the ground. And the goat had a notable horn between his eyes. And he came to the ram that had two horns, which I had seen standing before the river, and ran unto him in the fury of his power. And I saw him come close unto the ram, and he was moved with choler against him, and smote the ram, and brake his two horns. And there was no power in the ram to stand before him, but he cast him down to the ground, and stamped upon him. And there was none that could deliver the ram out of his hand. Therefore the he-goat waxed very great, and when he was strong, the great horn was broken, and for it came up four notable ones toward the four winds of heaven. And out of one of them came forth a little horn, which waxed exceeding great, toward the south, and toward the east, and toward the pleasant land. And it waxed great, even to the host of heaven. And it came down, and it cast down some of the host and of the stars to the ground, and stamped upon them. Yea, he magnified himself even to the prince of the host. And by him the daily sacrifice was taken away, and the place of his sanctuary was cast down. And as an host was given, and an host was given him against the daily sacrifice by reason of transgression, and it came down the truth to the ground, and it cast down the truth to the ground, and it practiced and prospered. Then I heard one saint speaking, and another saint said unto that certain saint which spake, How long shall be the vision concerning the daily sacrifice, and the transgression of desolation, to give both the sanctuary and the host to be trodden underfoot? And he said unto me, Unto 2,300 days, then shall the sanctuary be cleansed. And it came to pass, when I, even I, Daniel, had seen the vision, and sought for the meaning, then, behold, there stood before me as the appearance of a man. And I heard a man's voice between the banks of Ulai, which called and said, Gabriel, make this man to understand the vision. So he came near where I stood, and when he came, I was afraid, and fell upon my face. But he said unto me, Understand, O son of man, for at this time of the end shall be the vision. Now, as he was speaking with me, I was in a deep sleep on my face toward the ground. But he touched me and set me upright. And he said, Behold, I will make thee know what shall be in the last end of the indignation. For at the time appointed the end shall be. The ram which thou sawest, having two horns, are the kings of Media and Persia. And the rough goat is the king of Grecia. And the great horn and the great horn that is between his eyes is the first king. Now they're being broken, whereas four stood up for it, 4 kingdoms shall stand up out of the nation, but not in his power. And then the latter time of their kingdom, when the transgressors are come to the full, the king of fierce countenance, a king of fierce countenance and understanding, a king of fierce countenance and understanding dark sentences shall stand up, and his power shall be mighty, but not by his own power, and he shall destroy wonderfully, and shall prosper and practice, and shall destroy the mighty and the holy people. And through his policy also he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand, and he shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall destroy many. He shall also stand up against the prince of princes. He shall be broken without hand. And the vision of the evening and the morning, which was told, is true. Wherefore, shut thou up the vision, for it shall be for many days. And I, Daniel, fainted, and was sick certain days. Afterward, I rose up and did the king's business, and I was astonished. He didn't say astonished. I was astonished at the vision, but none understood it. None understood it. All right, John 13. Okay. All right. All right. John chapter 13. Now before the feast of the Passover, when Jesus knew that his hour was come, that he should depart out of this world unto the Father, having loved his own which were in the world, he loved them unto the end. And supper being ended, the devil, having now put into the heart of Judas Iscariot, Simon's son, to betray him, Jesus, knowing that the Father had given all things into his hand, and that he was come from God and went to God, he riseth from supper. He riseth from supper, and laid aside his garment, and took a towel, and girded himself. After that he poureth water into a basin, and began to wash the disciples' feet, and to wipe them with the towel wherewith he was girded. Then cometh he to Simon Peter, and Peter saith unto him, Lord, dost thou wash my feet? Jesus answered and said unto him, What I do thou knowest not now, but thou shalt know hereafter. Peter saith unto him, Thou shalt never wash my feet. Jesus answered him, If I wash thee not, thou hast no part with me. Simon Peter saith unto him, Lord, not my feet only, but also my hands and my head. Jesus saith to him, He that is washed needeth not save to wash his feet, but is clean every whit. And ye are clean, but not all. And Jesus saith to him, He that is washed needeth not. He that is washed needeth not save to wash his feet, but is clean every whit. And ye are clean, but not all. For he knew who should betray him. Therefore he said, Ye are not all clean, but not all. Ye are clean, but not all. Okay? So after he had washed their feet, and he had taken his garments, and was set down again, he said unto them, Know ye what I have done to you? Ye call me Master and Lord, and ye say, Well, for so I am. If I then, your Lord and Master, have washed your feet, ye also ought to wash one another's feet. For I have given you an example, that ye should do as I have done to you. Verily I say unto you, the servant is not greater than his Lord, neither he that is sent greater than he that sent him. Neither he that is sent greater than he that sent him. If ye know these things, happy are ye if ye do them. I speak not of you all. I know whom I have chosen, but that the scripture may be fulfilled. He that eateth bread with me hath lifted up his heel against me. Now I tell you before it come, that when it is come to pass, ye may believe that I am he. Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that receiveth whomever I send receiveth me, and he that receiveth me receiveth him that sent me. When Jesus had thus said, he was troubled in spirit, and testified and said, Verily, verily, I say unto you, that one of you shall betray me. Then the disciples looked one on another, doubting of whom he spake. Now there was leaning on Jesus' bosom one of his disciples, whom Jesus loved. Simon Peter therefore beckoned to him that he should ask who it should be of whom he spake. He then lying on Jesus' breast, he then lying on Jesus' breast saith unto him, Lord, who is it? Jesus answered, He it is to whom I shall give a sop when I have dipped it. And when he had dipped the sop, he gave it to Judas Iscariot, the son of Simon. And after the sop, Satan entered into him. Then said Jesus unto him, That thou doest, do quickly. Now no man at the table knew for what intent he spake this unto him. For some of them thought, because Judas had the bag, that Jesus said unto him, Buy those things that we have need of against the feast, or that he should give something to the poor. Because Judas had the bag. Gotta get the bag, gotta get the bag. That is very interesting. Where did it come from? All right. He then, having received the sop, went immediately out, and it was night. Therefore, when he was gone out, Jesus said, Now is the Son of Man glorified, and God is glorified in him. If God be glorified in him, God shall also glorify him in himself, and shall straightway glorify him. Little children, yet a little while I am with you. Ye shall seek me. And as I said unto the Jews, Whither I go, ye cannot come. So now I say to you, a new commandment I give unto you, that ye love one another as I have loved you, that ye also love one another. That ye love one another as I have loved you, that ye also love one another. By this shall all men know that ye are my disciples, if ye have love one to another. Simon Peter said unto him, Lord, whither goest thou? Jesus answered him, Whither I go, thou canst not follow me now, but thou shalt follow me afterwards. Peter said unto him, Lord, why cannot I follow thee now? I will lay down my life for thy sake. Jesus answered him, Wilt thou lie down thy life for my sake? Verily, verily, I say unto you, the cock shall not crow, the cock shall not crow, till thou hast denied me thrice. He said, Wilt thou lay down thy life for my sake? Wilt thou lie down thy life for my sake? is we? Where is we? What time is it? 2:17. 2:17. Third. Okay. All right. The third epistle of John. Diotrephes, presumably an influential elder in a church somewhere, refused to welcome itinerant preachers, perhaps like Demetrius, who was recommended by John. So John wrote to another influential person, Gaius, urging him to show the hospitality which Diotrephes refused. Outline, greeting, verses 1 and 4. 2, encouragement for Gaius, verses 5 and 8. 3, reproof of Diotrephes, verses 9 and 10. 4, commendation for Demetrius, verses 11 and 12. 5, conclusion, verses 13 through 15. The elder unto the well-beloved Gaius, whom I loved in the truth. Beloved, I wish above all things that thou mayest prosper and be in health, even as thy soul prospereth. For I rejoiced greatly when the brethren came and testified of the truth that is in thee, even as thou walkest in the truth. I have no greater joy than to hear that my children walk in truth. Beloved, thou doest faithfully whatsoever thou doest to thy brethren, and to strangers. Beloved, thou doest faithfully whatsoever thou doest to the brethren and to strangers, which have borne witness of thy charity before the church, whom if thou bring forward on their journey after a godly sort, thou shalt do well. But, or because that for his name's sake they went forth, taking nothing of the Gentiles. We therefore ought to receive such, that we may be fellow helpers to the truth. I wrote unto the church, but Diotrephes, who loveth to have the preeminence among them, receiveth us not. Wherefore, if I come, I will remember his deeds which he doeth, prating against us with malicious words, and not content therewith, neither doth he himself receive the brethren, and forbiddeth them that would, and casteth them out of the church. Beloved, follow not that which is evil, but that which is good. He that doeth good is of God, but he that doeth evil hath not seen God. Demetrius hath good report of all men, and of the truth itself, yea, and we also record, and we also bear record, and ye know that our our record is true. I had many things to write, but I will not, with the ink and pen, write unto thee. But I trust I shall shortly see thee. We shall speak face to face. Peace be to thee, our friends salute thee. Greet the friends we greet the friends by name. Greet the friends by name. Okay. Okay. Mhm. Job chapter 20. Job chapter 20. Then answered Zophar the Naamathite, and said, therefore do my thoughts cause me to answer, and for this I make haste. I have heard the check of my reproach, and the spirit of my understanding causes me to answer. Knowest thou not this of old, since man was placed upon the earth, that the triumphing of the wicked is short, and the joy of the hypocrite but for a moment? Though his excellency mount up to the heavens, and his head could reach unto the clouds, yet he shall perish forever like his own dung. They which have seen him shall say, where is he? He shall fly away as a dream, and shall not be found. Yea, he shall be chased away as a vision of the night. The eye also which saw him shall see him no more, neither shall his place any more behold him. His children shall seek to please the poor, and his hands shall restore their goods. His bones are full of the sin of his youth, which shall lie down with him in the dust. Though wickedness be sweet in his mouth, though he hide it under his tongue, though he spare it and forsake it not, but keep it still within his mouth, yet his meat is in his bowels, yet his meat in his bowels is turned. It is the gall of asps within him. He hath swallowed down riches, and he shall vomit them up again. God shall cast him out of his belly. He shall suck the poison of asps. The viper's tongue shall slay him. He shall not see the rivers, the floods, the brooks of honey and butter. That which he labored for, shall he restore, and shall not swallow it down. According to his substance shall the restitution be, and he shall not rejoice therein, because he hath oppressed and hath forsaken the poor, because he hath violently taken away an house which he builded not. Surely he shall not feel quietness in his belly. He shall not save of that which he desired. There shall none of his meat be left. Therefore shall no man look for his goods. In the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in straits. Every hand of the wicked shall come upon him. When he is about to fill his belly, God shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him, and shall rain it upon him while he is eating. He shall flee from the iron weapon, and the bow of steel shall strike him through. It is drawn and cometh out of the body, yea, the glittering sword cometh out of his gall. Terrors are upon him. All darkness shall be hid in his secret places. A fire not blown shall consume him. It shall go ill with him that is left in the tabernacle. The heaven shall reveal his iniquity, and the earth shall rise up against him. The increase of his house shall depart, and his goods shall flow away in the day of his wrath. This is the portion of a wicked man from God, and the heritage upon appointed unto him by God. This is the portion of the wicked man. This is the portion of the wicked man from God, and the heritage appointed unto him by God. Their foot shall slide in due time. 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 On around, shall. Oh, looky. All right. Why didn't do that? You gotta do this on a daily basis. That's, ain't no telling. There's no telling. What's going on here? Okay. Yes, sir. All right, whatever, man. All right. Where are we? Black church is our oldest economic institution. The black church is the only institution over which blacks have some reasonable amount of control. They are the oldest and largest black-owned economic enterprises holding the highest concentration of black wealth and social power. These realities alone qualify and position black churches to play a pivotal role in black America's building alternative economic structures within its own communities. For centuries, both black ministers and their churches performed an important societal function that were always visible manifestations of black consciousness, values, and spirituality. The one area in which black people have had our greatest degree of freedom. Despite legalized slavery and Jim Crow semi-slavery, black churches instilled black family values and a community code of conduct guided our emotionalism and spiritual fulfillment, cultivated and contained our culture, and refined and passed our musical and artistic talents. Within the community itself, our churches have been very productive. They have trained our civic and political leaders, fought for justice, freedom, as well as developed our first mutual aid societies, insurance companies, newspapers, and numerous other businesses. With a present annual revenue flow of approximately $50 billion, black churches remain black America's largest and oldest mechanism for aggregating wealth and creating businesses. But a 1983 survey of more than 1,800 black clergymen found that only about half supported use of the church to achieve black political and social change. A growing danger. We are now in a critical post-integration period. Black churches, like black people, are at risk. The flight of the black middle class from inner cities to the suburbs weakened black churches and left them with smaller congregations, a fewer financial base, a I'm sorry, a weaker financial base, and a lesser black orientation. This weakening of the role of black churches is occurring at the same time that blacks are losing faith in social integration. Black churches are the last standing truly black institutions. Just as black Americans lost their communities, schools, role models, baseball teams, and music to social integration, there is great fear that black churches have also been lost. For centuries, black people looked to their ministers for knowledge, guidance, and insight in spiritual as well as worldly matters. With integrated congregations and ministerial alliances, black ministers can no longer, how about longer, openly use black churches to address the needs and concerns of black people. The original role of black churches. Black churches were one of the first tools slave masters used to socially engineer black people. A slave's exposure to organized religion in this country was limited to accompanying the slave master to Sunday morning services as an attendant or driver. While colonial laws of 1672 discouraged slaveholders from baptizing black slaves, Christianity was used to benefit the white masters. In general, slave masters hoped Christianity would encourage slaves to be Christ-like, render them submissive and obedient, justify black bondage, and instill internal controls over their hearts and minds, over the hearts and minds of black slaves. The internal controls were accompanied by self-serving interpretations of the Bible, alleging that blacks were a cursed people. Many blacks became so convinced that the world was so full of sin and sorrow that the sooner they were dead, the better off they would be. From their inception in the early 1800s, they had the responsibility to focus the aspirations of black people on the next life. These scriptures were used to promote black inferiority and justify slavery. Once the white power elite selected or approved a black person to administer to the black masses, they admonished the ministers to teach that, one, when the Holy Bible referred to the slave and master, it was referring to the black race and the white master here on earth. Two, blacks were supposed to be hardworking, trustworthy, obedient, and humble. Three, they were to accept their lot in life, postpone worldly pleasures, and look forward to their pie in the sky after death. Essentially, black churches and black ministers were approved to induce blacks into colluding in their own exploitation and subordination. On the positive side, the use of biblical scriptures to control and render black people passive, pliable, and acceptable as has never worked with all blacks. Instead of using the Bible to teach blacks to be all forgiving, long suffering, with a turn of the cheek attitude, some independent black ministers use the scriptures to embolden blacks to oppose and escape slavery. They feigned compliance with social policies and instead preached coded sermons that gave hope to black slaves. They helped the black masses by fashioning a different sense of reality within the Christian religion by teaching them to identify with the plight of the Jews in the Bible and providing resources to escape slavery. Following the Civil War, many black ministers, especially those in the African Methodist Episcopal AME churches, right, y'all, messing me up, messing up my chi. I'm messing up my chi. All right. Aggressively asserted their spiritual independence. In the mid 1860s, over 100 ex slaves walked into St. Paul's AME, African Methodist Episcopal Church in Raleigh, North Carolina, and demanded that the church help the 5 million newly freed slaves who were poor, hungry, ignorant, homeless, and defenseless. Black churches responded to this, black churches responded to this and similar demands across the South and provided food and clothing. Within a decade, they used the churches to start banks, newspapers, benevolent societies, insurance companies, burial societies, and other black businesses. Black churches eventually became the repositories of black culture, music, wealth, and leadership. Most importantly, black ministers began to use their churches as training grounds for community and business leaders. Out of the box religious teaching. Many looked to the Old Testament and identified with biblical characters such as Moses, Joshua, and Samson in their struggles to free their people. They saw aspects of these stories that whites did not teach. The story of Samson in the book of Judges provides a particularly inspiring and non-traditional model for black religious leaders. The model of Samson obligates black leaders to be more protective of their black followers, just as Samson was to his fellow Jews. Okay. The story of Samson and Delilah was not just a morality story of a man's betrayal by a woman or about Samson being punished for giving in to the weakness of the flesh. It was a story of a man who God brought into the world with unique strengths and powers. As an instrument of God, Samson loved and championed the causes of his people. But Samson was not a priest or a man of the cloth. He never saw himself as being perfect. He gambled, drank wine, chased women, and committed violent acts. Samson was a Danite, commissioned to provoke the Philistines and, when necessary, to stand up to them. He was not sent to the earth to get along with the enemies of his people. The story of Samson is about unconventional, out of the box thinking. The lesson in the story of Samson is that even when blind, he remained committed to fighting his people's enemies regardless of personal sacrifices he had to make. Today, as in Samson's time, the system that is oppressing black people stands upon two pillars. One, a structural economic and political inequality between the races, and two, the learned inappropriate behavior patterns of black people. The lesson of the story of Samson is more about commitment, commitment, than it is about betrayal. The hour is late. A great number of societal factors, including the breakdown of the family, deterioration of black communities, lack of moral standards, increased crime, and integration negatively impact black churches. Integration is one of the most detrimental. Why? Because to a large degree, integration triggered many of the current social pathologies that are crippling black communities. Churches also had to respond to changing neighborhoods. Some churches welcomed the newcomers and abandoned their own blackness. Others welcomed newcomers into the blackness of their church and maintained their cultural heritage and orientation. Some white ministers moved into black neighborhoods and set up churches with black members. The integration process has already compromised our music, colleges, businesses, sports teams, and communities. By compromising away our blackness, whether it is inside or outside of the church, we lose our common past and a common future aspiration. We become a people who are blind to reality. A couple of years ago, while speaking at a community forum in a local high school auditorium in Ohio, a member of the planning committee advised me that a black minister of one of the city's largest black churches would not be attending the program. He anticipated that the program would focus on black issues and black rights, and as a minister, his concern was human rights, not black rights. It seems that by focusing on human rights rather than black rights, the minister implied that blacks are less than human. Ironically, The first time the phrase human rights was made a public issue was in the 1850s in response to Harriet Beecher Stowe, Harriet Beecher Stowe's book Uncle Tom's Cabin. It was later it was later that human rights, like the concepts of minority and race, was expanded and watered down to include nearly everybody but black people. Unfortunately, this minister is not unique. There are hundreds of black ministers who have similar attitudes and avoid black rights and black people. Though the racial inequalities created by slavery and Jim Crow segregation continue to exist, apparently many ministers feel some obligation to protect white society's feelings by avoiding racial matters. Some do not. There are two notable exceptions. On the West Coast, Dr. Frederick C. Price, pastor of Crenshaw Christian Center in Los Angeles, delivered a phenomenal year-long series of lectures on race, religion, and racism, which he later published as a book by the same name. Dr. Price approached the problems of race in the church with scholarship, integrity, and in an effort to educate. He chastised various religions on their institutional racism. On the East Coast, in Washington, D.C., Dr. Earl Trent, the pastor of Florida Avenue Baptist Church, is equally committed. Dr. Trent teaches about the role of blacks in the Bible, but he also focuses on economic development within the church. He he works to save his people and his community. The church is the church is buying property. The church is buying property and building the church is buying property and building black owned businesses. But many black ministers are afraid to be black. They are often dependent upon non-blacks for supplemental incomes, political appointments, and government grants. To protect their relationship with the majority society, they avoid anything that is identifiably black and willing to sell out their people, whether for extra income or special recognition from whites or simply out of ignorance. Whatever the reason, the harm to blacks cannot be erased. A case in point is a business alliance formed by five of the nation's largest black churches in the late 1990s called the Revelation Corporation of America. According to reports, a white businessman from Memphis helped the churches create the alliance. Predominantly white owned businesses would sell their products to black Americans at a discount through these churches. Both the white owned businesses, as well as the businessman who helped establish the alliance, stood to make substantial profits. Black ministers earned about 12% commission for steering consumer dollars out of black communities and into the coffers of white and other non-black businesses. This economic model is not in the self-interest of blacks. This economic model is not in the self-interest of blacks. It directed dollars away from black businesses and to white and Korean owned businesses. This alliance followed the historical pattern of using black consumer dollars to make whites and others wealthy, dropping a few crumbs to blacks along the way. Alliances of this type allowed whites and Korean businessmen to take over the black funeral home industry, just as they engineered the recent takeover of the black hair care industry, and black music industry. It is inappropriate it is inappropriate for black churches and black ministers to allow themselves to be used as hunt dogs by those who want to exploit black consumers, expanding the role of black churches. As this nation enters the 21st century, Black America needs unconventional, out of the box thinking from its black ministers and their respective churches on ways they can expand the traditional role of the black church to include an emphasis of black empowerment. The annual revenue flow in black churches is twice as large as the total revenue of all of the black owned businesses. Powernomics calls on black ministers to use their respective churches to do what they did over a century ago, commit themselves to improve the quality of life for black people by reducing the racial, wealth, and power inequality. Those who choose this commitment should join together in a demonstration of ethno-aggregation, step forward, and, like Samson, place their collective hands upon the great pillars that support the inequalities and push until they overcome the corrupted spiritual, economic, and political structure that has entrapped black people. Churches can act as a catalyst for change and function as a social glue that holds black America together, while teaching how to economically and politically compete, while teaching how to economically and politically compete as a group. What should black churches do? First, they should begin espousing a new black spirituality that promotes community building, both in terms of physical structures and in the sense of peoplehood. As active community builders, black churches can influence nearly every aspect of black life. They can reach out and supply powernomics. They can reach out and apply powernomics principles to rebuild the physical communities, local economies, public and private school systems, and most importantly, give black people an expanded base for their spirituality. The distinction between blacks as religious versus blacks as spiritual is important. Black people can be spiritual even without belonging to a particular church. Those who are spiritual may not regularly attend a church, but do believe in the existence of God and feel religion is important in their lives. Many would be attracted to church affiliation by religious institutions that are reformed and more committed to the black community. The challenge for black churches is to prepare the black people to compete and prosper here on earth. Not all black churches will be able to accept this challenge. Since wealth and power follow the numbers, Black America needs its churches to expand their philosophical and program boundaries to include as many black people as possible, whether members or not. Churches that choose to accept the challenge will retain their religious leadership, but expand it to include civic activities and challenge America's structural inequalities. The following 10 principles offer guidance to black churches committed to expanding their traditional role and encouraging black Americans toward self-sufficiency based on competitive self-interest. Andale pues. Alright, well, he's almost there, boss. We're almost there. Boss, man. We're almost there. We're almost there.